like 8 or 9, like under the age of 10. Okay, but he's a kid. He's got dark skin, he has black hair, and he has like an afro to his hair. So he's sitting in the corner on the dining room, or I'm sorry, it's a dining room bench. It's like a square bench. It's against the wall, and he's got his knees to his chest. And what I'm seeing is he might have scraped his knees, so there's like a big old band-aid on his left knee, okay? And he's like picking at the perimeter, like the outside layer of the band-aid where the sticky part is, and he's deliberating whether or not to remove it, okay? Now the band-aid looks a little old, like it's been there for a few days, you know? And he's got like a bunch of thoughts racing through his head, like, what if it hurts if I remove it? What if it peels off the scab and it starts bleeding again? What if it's infected? What is and what is? And so instead of just removing it, he's kind of like just picking at it, working up the courage to, I feel like he's trying to remove as much of that sticky part as he can, and he's a little bit scared. So it looks like it might have been a deep wound, and it looks like it's a big band-aid. So I feel like, it might have been serious, and especially for this boy, he's small and he's young, so it looks like a significant wound. And I'm hearing the voices of the adults that are circulating around this kitchen area, and they're kind of like telling him, just remove it. It'll be fine. Just remove it and wash it. And they tell him, like, if you don't want to do it, I can do it for you. And he just adamantly says, no, 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 don't touch me. I want to do it. And then he's biding his time. He's trying to, figure out what to do. And so the scene plays like that for quite some time. Like, he's still sitting there deliberating. And finally, he works up the courage, and I hear somebody, like his mom in the background. She's all like, do it fast. Like, just rip off the band-aid. And so he pries open the sticky part on both sides of the band-aid, and then he rips it off. And as soon as it comes off, he looks at it, and he's very surprised that, first of all, it's not infected, it didn't pull off any skin, and it's not bleeding, and it looked like it healed. Okay, it looked like he's in good shape. It looks like he's no longer hurting. And so he looks at it, and I see this broad smile spreading across his face. And the scene cuts out. So let's talk about, this scene in general. So I feel like, that little kid is definitely you guys. Um, I feel like you've been mulling over a situation for a very long time. And you're mulling over, thinking it over, and there are a lot of what ifs and a lot of like uncertainty running through your head. What if it turns out this way? What if, like, I plan this, but then it doesn't get executed, and then things go awry? And I feel like in your head, with all of your thoughts, things are a lot worse than they seem. Either that, or you're focusing a lot more on the negatives, okay? What if it hurts? What if it's infected? What ifs and what ifs? And the bottom line is, we won't know how something is going to pan out unless we kind of like, rip off that band-aid, unless we make a change, or unless we purposefully do something, okay? So that's the first thing. And then I'm also seeing as well this energy where the idea about, making a decision and being very, very deliberate about making this decision. So don't sit with it anymore. Don't just poke at it. Don't just, try to pry it open from the periphery. You kind of need to get in, like dive right in and figure things out and sort things out. So what I'm seeing here is things are not as bad as they seem. And for some reason, for many of you, being the practical sign that you are, you tend to dwell on, what if things don't go awry? Do I need a plan? What if things go awry? What if things don't go the way I plan? What if things don't come to fruition? Do I need a plan B? Do I need a plan C? And so while you're sitting with these thoughts, I feel like nothing, like no real action is taken in the real world, okay, in the physical. And so this is the month where you really have to think about what is that decision that you've been mulling over for a very long time, and yet you're not really acting on it, okay? So for some of you, what I have here, Ace of Wands, this is a project, this is a work situation, okay? And look at this match. It feels like it has dimmed, okay? It feels like there's no spark left. It just feels to me like it has smoked out, or the flames has been doused out, okay? So I feel like in this situation, you're no longer passionate about the work. You're no longer feeling emotionally fulfilled with the work that you are doing. And I feel that you are going through the motions. You are going through like doing things that are expected of you. And especially, there's a little, this is a pangolin, I believe. And there's a little baby one right here. So this is kind of like obligation, okay? Doing things to pay the bills. Doing things out of that sense of personal responsibility. Doing things so that, because our family depends on us. Because our children depends on us. Because it's stable and it's pragmatic. Because it's the safer choice, okay? Status quo. This is very, very status quo oriented. And so I feel like for many of you, you're in a job and you have been feeling that this situation has been lackluster for a very long time. And you have been thinking heavily about, a transition, the death card underneath. And I keep seeing this bird here, and what it denotes is like there has been messages, there has been signs, poster boards just plaster all along the corridors of your life, telling you, change is coming, change is imminent, change is required, change is needed. You're no longer feeling emotionally invested in this. It is time for you to do something else. It is time for you to venture off into the new. It is time for you, especially, to close out the cycle. The world is about, things coming to an end, okay? Wrapping things up, jumping into a new phase in your life. But in this context, it's almost like the world is yours for the taking. There will be so many other opportunities out there. It's almost like there's plenty of fish in the sea. There are plenty of other jobs that you could be doing. There are plenty of projects that are out there. There are endless and limitless possibilities out there. If you can leave this behind and invest your energy into looking forward and moving on with new opportunities, okay? So the way that this reading is coming out to me, it feels to me like it's split like this. This is where you were, or where some of you might be, because, Scorpios, you have a tendency to cling on to the past, okay? This is, for some of you, you're already here. For others, you're still here. And this is where the universe wants you to end up. And this is ultimately where you want to see yourself within, the next 5 years, okay? Or even like making a major transition even this month or even this year, so that you can end up in this really amazing, happy place at the end of the year, or by the end of the year. And we have here Five of Cups, okay? This is regret, sadness, fish out of water, okay? This is a situation that feels to me to be very, very, very incomplete, uninspiring, devoid of emotions. Okay, so this is a creature that is half fish, half human. And it's basically a mermaid, but it's not like the stereotypical depiction of a mermaid. And in this environment, it just seems to me like there's no water. Okay, it's like a drought. And it feels like this creature doesn't feel like they fit in anywhere. Do I belong on land and walk like a human, or do I belong in the sea? Where do I thrive? How do I find others that are like me? How do I put my skills to good use? How can I get myself out of this situation that is no longer bringing me emotional happiness? How do I, try to move on with my life? And I feel for many of you, this is work oriented. For many of you as well, this could be a situation where you are living, who you are associating and aligning yourself with, And I feel like this, this oddball, like not feeling like you fit in, not feeling like you have found your niche, not feeling like you have found your path, and feeling almost like I'm settling for this because it pays the bills. It takes care of the kids. It brings home enough money where I can, put the kids through school and save up for a house and things like that. It's a very practical minded decision that's or even like the lure for you to stay here is very practical. It's very pragmatic. But I feel that in your hearts of hearts, it's really not emotionally fulfilling for you, and you have been made aware of this for quite some time. Okay, you might have been wallowing in this for like the past year, the past 12 months, and thinking that there needs to be something more. And what's really interesting, in this cluster of cards is I keep seeing this communication coming from the bird, okay? This is like your spirit guides, okay? That nudging, that kind of like itch in the back of your mind that you can't scratch, telling you that Scorpio, you know this is not working. You know that there is more to this. You know that you're meant for more. You know that you're being pushed out of your comfort zone. You're being pushed away from this situation that is snuffed out. The passion is gone. The thrill is gone. The embers, the flame is no longer here. And I'm also seeing like the drive, the ambition, the passion. It's devoid of all of those things, and so you're just clinging on to this wand, and it doesn't have any fire in it left. Okay, so there's definitely nudges, intuitive hits, as well as your own sense of intuition guiding you and giving you messages and telling you that you need to do something else here. Okay, and going back to the image of the little boy. Okay, deliberating, okay, not making a move, very fearful as well, and also in a state where he is mired in like fear, okay? So we have here the Three of Cups. This is a situation where things are going around and round and round in circle. This is like the spin cycle, okay? The spin cycle where things come out in the wash, where we are getting rid of all the gunk, all the debris, all the dust, all the things that can kind of like stain, tarnish, or even make a situation dirty. Okay, so what I'm feeling with this card is you can either, dwell in this environment where things are just going around and around in a circle and there isn't anything new, or you can choose to, finish it up, wrap it up, tear off that band-aid. And I feel more than anything with this water energy, Three of Cups, it's your element, which means the executive decision, the swiftness, the deliberateness has to come from you, okay? No one else can make this change for you, and people can tell you, and people can talk to you and try to convince you and persuade you until they're blue in the face, but ultimately, you are your own person, and as a fixed sign, you are also very incredibly stubborn. And as a result of that, you have to arrive at wanting to make this change and wanting to make this decision on your own. And no one is going to be able to get you to do it unless it's coming from you, okay? So like the weight of the responsibility, I feel, is really bearing down on you, okay? We have here the Ten of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles is pretty much the apex of the financial responsibility, okay? And I'm feeling just the sheer gravity, the sheer weight of it on this card, okay? For many of you, this is just like all the things that you have to get in order, okay? Get all your ducks in a row. Get your financial situation sorted out so that you can implement this change, okay? And for some of you, selling a car, trying to, move all of your stuff, trying to pack up boxes, trying to figure out what I need to leave behind and what I need to bring with me to the next phase of my life. Selling property, thinking about taking out a huge loan in order to fund some type of like startup project. Even getting like startup capital so that you can start a business. And I'm seeing like the financial weight of it and the